Welcome back to Global News, your go-to source for the biggest updates from the USA and across the globe. Today we are counting down the most impactful news stories you need to know right now. Before we jump in, make sure to like this video, share it with your friends, and subscribe so you never miss a world update. Let's get started with number 10. Today, first news. Macron and Takaichi call for peace and stronger bilateral ties. During a high-profile visit to Tokyo, French President Emmanuel Macron and Japanese PM Sanae Takaichi issued a joint call for an immediate Middle East ceasefire. Emphasizing the protection of the Strait of Hormuz, both leaders underscored their commitment to international law and regional stability. The summit catalyzed a significant expansion of the France-Japan partnership. Defense ministers Shinjiro Koizumi and Catherine Vautrin signed a roadmap to increase joint military drills in the Indo-Pacific, a strategic move to counterbalance rising regional influence. Beyond security, the nations finalized a joint rare earths project to diversify supply chains away from market dominance. Agreements were also reached on nuclear fuel recycling and fast reactor development, signaling a deep, multi-sectoral alliance spanning from the deep sea to space exploration. Next news. Trump signals rapid Iran exit and targets NATO alliances. President Donald Trump announced Wednesday that U.S. forces will withdraw from Iran pretty quickly, shifting the military strategy toward a spot hit capability for future interventions. Speaking to Reuters ahead of a national address, Trump declared that a quote, full regime change had occurred following the death of Supreme Leader Ali Khamenei, expressing optimism for a deal with new Iranian leadership. The president also intensified his rhetoric against NATO, citing a lack of support for U.S. objectives in Iran. Trump confirmed he is absolutely considering a withdrawal from the 1949 treaty organization, labeling the alliance a one-way street. While dismissing concerns over underground enriched uranium, Trump asserted that U.S. actions have successfully neutralized Iran's nuclear capabilities, vowing to maintain satellite surveillance as troops prepare to depart. Next news. Italy's World Cup drought deepens, a third consecutive apocalypse. Italy's storied football legacy has hit a historic low after the national team failed to qualify for its third consecutive World Cup. A stunning playoff loss to 66th-ranked Bosnia and Herzegovina has transformed national shock into a grim sense of routine. Following absences in 2018 and 2022, critics and fans now describe the decline of the four-time champions as a systemic failure rather than a series of misfortunes. The crisis has sparked intense political pressure, with Sports Minister Andrea Abodi and former Premier Matteo Renzi demanding a total overhaul of the FIGC leadership. Critics point to a widening gap between Serie A interests and national team needs, alongside a diminishing pool of elite coaching talent. With Italian clubs also struggling in European competitions, the federation faces an imminent leadership election to address the third apocalypse of Italian soccer. Next news. Supreme Court debates landmark birthright citizenship challenge. The U.S. Supreme Court began historic oral arguments Wednesday regarding President Donald Trump's executive order to end birthright citizenship for children of undocumented and temporary residents. In an unprecedented move, Trump became the first sitting president to attend such a hearing, underscoring the high stakes for his administration's immigration overhaul. Solicitor General D. John Sauer argued the 14th Amendment was never intended for children of those without permanent allegiance to the U.S. However, Chief Justice John Roberts and Justice Sonia Sotomayor expressed skepticism, citing the 1898 Wong Kim Ark precedent and questioning the logical reach of such a policy. With 49 states filing briefs on opposing sides, the court's upcoming summer decision could impact over 250,000 infants born annually. Next news. Trump demands end to Hormuz blockade as Iran defies deadlines. In a day of rapid escalation, President Donald Trump issued a stern ultimatum to Tehran via Truth Social, demanding an immediate end to the blockade of the Strait of Hormuz or face direct military retaliation. The shift to a more aggressive posture comes despite Trump's earlier suggestions of a potential withdrawal, as U.S. forces reportedly prepare for a possible ground offensive following weeks of aerial bombardment. Tehran responded with defiance. Foreign Minister Abbas Araghchi told Al Jazeera that Iran does not set deadlines for self-defense, and confirmed that trust in U.S. diplomatic proposals is at zero. The rhetoric translated into immediate kinetic action on Wednesday as an Iranian missile struck an oil tanker off the coast of Qatar. Meanwhile, Israeli airstrikes targeted a facility in Tehran, while over 1,200 fatalities have now been reported in Lebanon as the regional conflict continues to widen. Next news. NASA commences fueling for historic Artemis II lunar mission. NASA has officially begun loading over 700,000 gallons of cryogenic propellant into the Space Launch System (SLS) rocket at Kennedy Space Center, marking the final countdown for the Artemis II mission. Scheduled for a 2-hour launch window, opening at 6:24 p.m. Eastern Daylight Saving Time this Wednesday, The mission will send 4 astronauts on a lunar fly-around, the first human trip to the moon in over 50 years. The crew, featuring Commander Reed Wiseman, Victor Glover, Christina Koch, and Jeremy Hansen, represents a milestone in diversity for deep space exploration. As launch director Charlie Blackwell Thompson monitors the high-stakes fueling process, the team aims to overcome previous technical hurdles to clear the path for a permanent lunar base by 2028. "We are going for all and by all," Wiseman stated shortly before suiting up. "It's time to fly." Next news. Blessing Muzarabani, from the Zimbabwe grind to the IPL spotlight. Standing 6 feet 8 inches, Zimbabwean pacer Blessing Muzarabani is finally finding his footing in the IPL with the Kolkata Knight Riders (KKR). His journey to the league wasn't a sprint, but a decade-long marathon, moving from Harare's Takashinga Cricket Club to a Test debut at 21, followed by stints in English county cricket. Despite previous non-playing roles at LSG and RCB, Muzarabani views his KKR selection as vital professional validation. Unlike many T20 specialists, Muzarabani credits his red ball background for his discipline. "If you can bowl in Test cricket, one think you can bowl well in T20, he noted, emphasizing that the long format taught him his body's limits. Now, under the tutelage of T20 legends like Dwayne Bravo, he is refining his white ball toolkit, specifically Yorkers and slower balls. While his height provides natural bounce, he remains wary of India's flat tracks and short boundaries, focusing on adaptability to survive and succeed in the world's most competitive franchise league. Next news. U.S. retail sales rebound 0.6% as gas price surge looms. U.S. retail sales rose by 0.6% in February, marking a steady recovery from January's 0.1% dip. Data from the Commerce Department highlights a resurgence in consumer activity, led by a 2% jump in clothing and a 1.2% increase in automotive sales. Health and personal care sectors also outperformed, posting a 2.3% gain as households resumed discretionary spending. Despite the growth, economists warn of a lagging effect from the escalating Iran conflict. Gasoline prices spiked to a national average of $4.06 per gallon on Wednesday, a $1 increase since the war began on February 28. Analysts fear these costs will soon erode purchasing power, particularly for lower-income families. While some retail CEOs believe spending will remain resilient unless fuel hits $5 per gallon, others anticipate an imminent pullback in travel and recreation as energy costs bite. Next news. Missile attack hits fuel tanker in Qatari waters amid energy crisis. Qatar Energy confirmed Wednesday that the Aqua One, a fuel oil tanker on charter to the state-owned firm, was struck by missiles in Qatar's northern territorial waters. The UK Maritime Trade Operations (UKMTO) reported the vessel was hit by 2 projectiles approximately 17 nautical miles north of Ras Laffan. While one strike ignited a fire that was later extinguished, a second projectile reportedly remains unexploded in the engine room. All crew members are safe, and no environmental damage has been recorded. The maritime strike follows devastating aerial attacks on the Ras Laffan industrial city on March 18 and 19, which crippled Qatar's liquefied natural gas (LNG) infrastructure. Those strikes damaged LNG trains 4 and 6, joint ventures with ExxonMobil, slashing the nation's export capacity by 17%. With repairs estimated to take up to 5 years and a projected annual revenue loss of $20 billion, Qatar Energy has declared long-term force majeure on several international contracts, sparking global concerns over energy security. Next news. Global markets rally as oil prices dip on hopes of Iran de-escalation. Global equity markets surged on Wednesday as investors embraced optimism for a potential resolution to the Iran conflict. The S&P 500 rose 0.6%, while the Dow Jones Industrial Average added 390 points, fueled by President Trump's recent suggestion that military operations could conclude within weeks. This sentiment sent U.S. crude oil prices tumbling below $100 per barrel, with benchmark WTI settling at $98.83 and Brent crude falling to $101.79. The rally extended across the Atlantic and Pacific, with Germany's DAX climbing 2.6% and South Korea's Kospi surging a remarkable 8.4%. Despite the market's bullish turn, economic indicators remain mixed. The U.S. national average for gasoline hit $4.06 per gallon, reflecting the immediate impact of regional supply fears. Analysts at Capital Economics cautioned that while a swift peace could trigger further recovery, the long-term economic ramifications of the conflict, including downgraded growth forecasts in Europe, are likely to persist. Investors now turn their focus to upcoming U.S. retail data for further clues on consumer resilience.